WSL clash. The Blues lead 2-0. Well, let's go back to the studio and we can join Mike.
Ali, thank you very much. What a first half that was. I think Ali used the word, didn't he? Perfect. And that was pretty much how to sum it up for Manchester City. Stephen McInerney, Shaun, Wright, Phillips with us for half-time here on Matchday Live. Shaun, perfect's the word, isn't it? That couldn't have gone any better for Manchester City.
Yeah, most definitely. I think that the ladies, they controlled the game from the minute go. I think Chelsea had, 5, maybe 7 minutes spell in a game where I think it was just about us getting used to the directness that they were playing at. They were looking for pretty much every given chance they had. And I think once they figured that part out, they just went back to controlling the game. And as you heard, they've got 8 corners to nil, a roundabout, and they're creating most of the chances. And once you control the game, for me, you're not likely to concede a goal if you have the ball all the time, effectively. And that's exactly what City are doing.
Stephen, your thoughts on the first half?
It's super impressive, genuinely. They've forced Chelsea into 2 substitutions 35 minutes through the game, and you don't do that unless you're sort of humiliated a little bit. And that was just such an impressive, powerful display of football. Chelsea, as Shaun's saying, they were so much more direct and they played so submissively. Because once again, it was City's brilliance that made them do that. You know, the control, the authority. They've stepped it up, and that was a potential champions performance. It was just brilliant.
Well, so much to unpick within that first half. Let's start with the first goal, though, Shaun, the brilliantly taken goal from Phillips at angle down.
Yeah, it was an interesting one because I felt like it was in before it actually.
Shaun actually jumped up and as soon as he left the boot, and everyone's like, "What?"
It just felt like it was going in. I felt the keeper for Chelsea was, I wouldn't say it in the wrong position, but she's tried to read a play that didn't really exist at the time, and I felt that Angeldar went for the shot purposely and kept it at a nice height. And from she makes the move slightly down to her right, it's hard to get back and get back up. So yeah, I was at my seat as soon as it left the foot. Sorry.
It was such a good goal because I think it came at a time as well. Chelsea might have had the first 5 minutes or so where they had more possession, but City then grew on top. And it's one of those where you just think, please, whilst you're on top, take your chance, go for it. And Philippa did that. She saw the space, saw the opportunity, scored the goal.
Yeah, we know that what football can be like. It can be, quite cruel at times when you can have all the possession, all the chances or whatever, and you don't take them, the other team will score, especially with Chelsea's quality when you've got Sam Kerr at the other end. You don't want to waste chances. And it was a moment of brilliance, opportune brilliance as well. She just thought, I'm going to take a shot here. And the timing was so crucial because at that point we were looking at each other saying, City are doing well there, they're on top, and Chelsea are looking more and more defensive. And a moment of magic like that, City 1-0 up, but ultimately they deserved it at that point, so it was huge.
What's better than 1-0? 2-0.
Dangerous score.
It could be. We were hoping at the end there that Chelsea wouldn't get a late goal to halve the deficit. The second goal was really good because City kept it alive in that box. I think one cross came in, it went out. The second one came in, and it was the second ball from Lauren Hemp that she sent in the back of the net.
And I think that's what City have done really, really well throughout the first half of this game, is the recycling of play. Even when the crosses have come in, whether it be corner or in play action, when the ball comes out, they get the ball back and they go wide again and they keep moving the ball. And this one came and it dropped and the set was perfect. And I thought Lauren Hemp's strike across the ball on the left foot was a perfect strike, and keeper unsighted, and it flies into the back of the net. And at that time, me and Steve were talking while we was watching the game, and we were saying, I said, I think we're going to score again, and he said it will be on the walk back to the studio. But it came before then. So
Lauren
again,
there, didn't she?
I think it was at the perfect time for City. And after then, you said, we was just sitting down and we was hoping that Chelsea don't score right now to make it 2-1, because now City can regroup, take a deep breath and go out and start the second half even stronger with a lot of confidence.
That second goal, put her laces through it. You knew as soon as she hit it.
Well, we were where we were sat at the angle. You could see right between the boot to the goal, and it was just a beautiful strike. I mean, it's one of those things where cutting across the ball like that. It's not easy to do, and it's a really high-quality goal, that. And both of the goals were just like, really top-quality goals, and I guess you have to do that to beat Chelsea. You know, you have to make half chances, full chances, because they're such a good defensive unit. Because even then, as good as the City have been, there hasn't been loads of sights of goal. It's not like we peppered the goal, you know. We've had to make the most of those little moments, and but that's what the best teams do, you know. You take those little moments that you get, and it was a cracking finish. It really was.
Bunny Shaw's not had many chances in the game. She's been dropping deep a little bit to get involved. We spoke a lot about her in a goal-scoring record in the build-up. What have you made to her first half, Shaun?
I think her role's been just as important as the goals she would have scored in previous games, especially today. She's occupied both Chelsea centre-backs and sometimes even their full-backs. She's retaining possession of the ball, which you need against a team like Chelsea, because you can see they're waiting for those transition plays, so she needs to be strong up there, which she's doing. And she's making it difficult. She's creating so much space for the other players. And if you see Lauren Hemp's movement as well off the back of what Bunny's doing, because both centre-backs are scared, it's Lauren Hemp basically one-on-one with her full-back, and at times there's times to play her in behind. It hasn't come as yet, but because that threat's there, the rest of the defence don't really get that tight because they're scared of what can happen in behind. So I think her role has been just as important without a goal.
From Chelsea's perspective, it's kind of one of those where your eyebrows are raised, that not only they're 2-0 down, but 2 substitutions within the first half as well. It's whatever Emma Hayes planned in the weeks kind of
wasn't that
gone to pot, hasn't it, already? Yeah.
No, absolutely. I mean, there's drastic measures, and there's an element of making a point, an element of being necessary. Because, I mean, when you're a team with Chelsea's quality, you know, reigning champions in every competition, as you said, hunting down immortality, to be 2-0 down, you know, against your title rivals like that early on. She's only done that because they're not playing the football that they want. Surely, it's not. I can only presume it's because it's not. Even sometimes you can play the football that you want, but still be losing 2-0. I can only presume she's done that because this just isn't what she's seen isn't right, you know, right now. And it did. It seems fair. I mean, we were watching, thinking Chelsea have not been good here at all. You know, they've been very defensive, very conservative, sat back an awful lot. And simply now, when you're 2-0 down against the side of City's quality, with that home crowd absolutely vociferous, you have to make drastic changes. And it's probably, hopefully it's the wrong call for them. But, you know, it could be for them. So
I'll come on to City's dressing room in a minute, but Shaun, as a player, if you're in that situation, not performing well, 2-0 down, and your manager makes 2 substitutions within 35 minutes, what are you thinking now?
Wakey. Yeah. Wake up. It's happened to me before, and sometimes it's not even because those 2 players were playing badly. Yeah. It's just more because of I felt like Chelsea wasn't retaining possession of the ball. They just kept giving it back to City. City will enjoy that. You keep giving off the ball back and you can wait another 5 minutes to get it back, sort of thing. And I think if you notice, the longer in that spell where we were saying, please don't let Chelsea score now, was, I suppose, their best spell of retaining possession of the ball. And that may be because of the 2 changes she made. So I wouldn't necessarily, it was from them playing badly. It's just tactical changes. And like you said, it is a surprise to us because Chelsea are trying to win everything. But they've come to a place where we thought at the beginning it would be difficult, and City have shown, it's difficult no matter who you are to come to our place and play football. So now for City, they'll be in there knowing that at this precise moment, only they can lose this game. Yeah. It's nothing to do with the manager. It's about us 11 on the pitch. He's give us the tactics. We're 2-0 up from those tactics and the way we've played. So now we have to go out and do the same and work even harder to retain that.
Don't forget, you could give us your thoughts as well, WhatsApp us, and we'll put some of your questions to Shaun and Stephen as well. On City's side, Gareth Taylor doesn't have much to say here, does he?
Yeah. 2-1 is one of the most dangerous scores in football. Because once 2-0, sorry, I said, if it gets to 2-1, the tide in football completely changes. City need to get another goal. Not before they sit back, before they can breathe a little bit easier. But 2-0 is a nothing score,
Chelsea,
as good as it looks.
Chelsea are too good to be completely disheartened by 2-0. You know, as you said, 2-1, the momentum will shift so much. Yeah. And they'll fancy the Sanchez to get a second goal. They've got one of the most iconic strikers in the history of the women's game up front. You know, they will think, we can score a second. And they'll be aware then of City's potential nerves if that happens. So, I mean, it's in a good. The thing is, though, ultimately, City in a great position right now. Their tactics have worked perfectly. They've got themselves that really healthy cushion. Just keep the ball. You know, just keep it simple. Keep your head. Keep the ball. and defended so well so far. Keep that up and they'll win the game. And I know it sounds easier said than done, but you'd kill to be in this position 2-0 at half-time, against the reigning champions. It's incredible.
Can City do anything better in the second half, Shaun?
I would think it's not a City way, but I think with the way Lauren is getting so much room in behind, just to stretch the play, because that will then give Coombs more room in between the defence and midfield. Just 1 or 2 times when Lauren goes to run in behind, just clip it over there. Sometimes she doesn't actually have to get it, but what it does is it'll make the defence, especially if she's onside, it'll make the defence back up that extra 5 yards. And then Coombs comes into play because then they can get the ball to her, and then it's even better from then because there's more angles for her to play with. So I think from that aspect, other than that, I don't think they've done anything wrong, to be honest with you. I think, like you said, it's for me in the first half, it's been quite a perfect performance. It
has been, and that's the word Ali Man used. Shaun's used it now, so you know it's a perfect performance, really. Do you expect a different Chelsea in the second half? Or do you think they'll be so rocked by what they've happened to them in the first 45 minutes?
I don't think you achieve what they've done without knowing how to respond to this. Mahrez will be furious, There'll be a different Chelsea side, and I think the key for City is that first 15 minutes, second half, There'll be so much energy and drive from Chelsea. Just somehow quell that, and control them a little bit, and then they should be all right. But, yeah, Chelsea are going to have their moments, There's hardly a game against title rivals that passes at any level where they don't have a spell of possession or a spell of, pressure. So that's going to happen, but it's just up to City to respond to it.
As mentioned, you can put your questions to the guys on WhatsApp, and Daisy's done just that, Shaun. She says, how much has Steph Houghton brought a calming presence to the team today?
Steph's done really, really well, and I think you can see it all over because there has been a few times where Chelsea have got in behind, and I think the way they've all filtered back into, whether it be positions, whether it's their own or not, they've all filtered into that back 4 line, bought the rest of the team time to get back, and then just made it difficult. And then you'll see them all shuffle back into the position they actually play in. So I think that, like I said, tactically, they've done tremendous. I think they've executed everything they've been asked to. And like Steve said, it's Chelsea. They're going to have a spell of possession. They might have a few chances, but what City's done is they've dealt with it very, very well, which I think has affected Chelsea.
Yeah, absolutely. They've dealt with it so well. When you've done that well so far, you can do it again. Basically, like Gareth will be saying, more of the same, to an extent. And you also have to build on the confidence from that as well. Like you could sit back and try and wait and contain the game, or you could go for the jugular, go out there and try and destroy them. Like get a third, and all of a sudden, with that crowd behind you. The atmosphere is wonderful there. That could be enough to really then go and make a statement, and that would be exciting, wouldn't it?
Chelsea players are back out on the pitch. It was interesting, funny enough, we'll go back to the commentary in a second, but after the second goal, there was almost a team meeting in the middle of the pitch from the Chelsea players. Whilst City was celebrating, Shaun, that the Chelsea players had to regroup.
It does happen in football, and it's just them as a team together trying to get something more out of them, and this shows you they're out early before Man City. So they've been told off in the dressing room, and they've come out to basically get together as a unit and take it on board themselves. So like Steve said, that the first 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes here is massively important for City. I think if we ride that out and play the way we know, then once we get past that, then I think that more chances will come for us.
To use a cliche, next goal's so important.
Absolutely. 2-1, terrifying. 3-0, happy days.
We don't want 2-1.
No,
I'm getting rid of that score.
Doesn't exist.
You don't do this here, man. You don't do this here, man. It's going to be 3-0, 4-0, 5-0, happy days.
A couple of Manchester City players heading out. They've had a much more relaxed half-time team talk. You can see there the Chelsea players, that last bit of team spirit, that hope maybe they can do something from our perspective, of course. We hope far from it, and we hope the City girls are fired up, ready to go. It is a big game in the WSL. It is advantage Manchester City so far. Can they seal it in the second half? Let's go back to your commentator, Ali Man.
Yeah, welcome back. It is very much advantage